going to the dinner.
No way. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. OPMA authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings through use of streaming services and other online meeting platforms. Red Bank Council is meeting in person as well as providing an option for the public to participate via Zoom video meetings. Please note that the option to attend is being provided as a courtesy. Therefore, if Zoom becomes unavailable during the meeting and it cannot quickly be fixed, Council will continue with the remainder of the meeting. For those joining us via Zoom, please raise your hand during designated times to be recognized for a comment. Whether you are appearing in person or via Zoom, you must provide your name to be recognized. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we roll call, please, Bonnie?
Councilperson Bonatakas? Here. Councilperson Fitzy Blackwood?
Present.
Councilperson Forrest?
Present.
Councilperson Denone?
Here.
Councilperson Euro?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano? Here. Mayor Park?
Here. All right, we have a few proclamations. The first one is for American Heart Month. Whereas cardiovascular disease, including heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure, is responsible for 1 out of every 3 deaths. It is the #1 killer of American women and men, and it is the leading cause of serious illness and disability. And whereas across our nation, we have lost devoted mothers and fathers, loved siblings, and cherished friends to this devastating epidemic. During American Heart Month, as we honor their memories, let us recommit to improving our heart health and continuing the fight against this deadly disease for ourselves and our families. And whereas Americans of all backgrounds can be at risk for heart disease and stroke, and nearly half of all adults have at least one major risk factor. However, individuals who are at high risk often do not know it, and data suggests that many people who experience sudden cardiac death do not act on early warning signs. That is why it is important to understand the risk factors for cardiovascular disease, such as obesity, inactivity, and diabetes, and to keep your blood pressure and cholesterol under control by maintaining a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, and not smoking. You can control risk factors and help protect your heart. And whereas on Friday, February 6th, I invite all Red Bank citizens and employees to join in marking American Heart Month by wearing red to help raise awareness of cardiovascular disease and provide an important reminder that it is never too early to take action to protect our health. This month, let us reaffirm our resolve to fight this epidemic and continue our work to build a brighter future for our families. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim and observe throughout February 2026 as American Heart Month, and ask everyone to join me in recognizing and reaffirming our commitment to fighting cardiovascular disease. And I believe Terrence is here to accept this, right, Terrence?
Sure. Not exactly the reward you were hoping for.
Take it, we're happy.
I'm thankful to have it because I'm here.
I'm gonna say you're here. I'm speaking myself, because I had my surgery too. So
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will say, kind of ironic or crazy or anything, but yesterday was my 8th-year anniversary of my heart attack. So live, healthy. My wife reminded me this morning that should all be very grateful. But I do want to say to everybody that anybody that's lost a loved one or dealt with this, my mother passed away from this disease, and it's dear to my heart. And I would encourage everybody, like the mayor said, always take heed to all the warning signs. Because I thought mine was just indigestion that night. Didn't go to sleep. Next thing you know, I'm in the emergency room with 99% blockage. And I'm still here today. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had my, and May of 21, Terrence, or maybe earlier than that. I started having like a weird on the other side. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought it was like post-COVID. I pulled a muscle. It turns out I needed a quadruple bypass. And then the doctor said, just stay relaxed. And so April of the next year, I ran for mayor. Yeah. There you go. So, couple of schmucks, is what you're saying. All right. Okay.
Right up.
All right, we have one more proclamation, and this is for Black History Month, a century of Black history commemorations. Whereas 2026 marks a milestone of both progress and persistence in the United States, the 100th anniversary of federal recognition for Black Americans. What began as a singular week of learning and recognition called Negro History Week in 1926 has grown into an overall cultural observance of Black history throughout the month of February. And whereas across the generations, countless Black Americans have demonstrated profound moral courage and resilience to shape our nation for the better. And in the face of wounds and obstacles, including enslavement and segregation perpetuated by the nation itself, Black Americans lead in every part of society today, strengthening and uplifting all of the United States of America. And whereas the celebration of Black History Month is a positive way of recognizing the culture and history of African Americans as vital to the core beliefs and values of our society. And whereas on behalf of the Borough Council and myself, we ask all borough residents to join in carrying forward the work to build a beloved community as described by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls as well as a quantitative change in our lives. Now, therefore, Therefore, we, the mayor and council of the borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in recognition of African Americans past and present in our community. And we have the lovely Gilda Rogers here from the T. Thomas Fortune.
All right, all right. Mayor and the council meeting.
Thank you so much. I know,
Mhm.
the best clubs.
Yes, you'll just be looking in between pictures.
Want to thank you all for this proclamation and just to, remind us of the words of Justice John Marshall Harlan, who was the lone dissenter in Plessy versus Ferguson, when he said, he couldn't with good conscience vote with the other justices because he understood, and he's someone who had formerly owned slaves, he understood that the Black and white races were inextricably linked together for life. And if we all could, really grasp that and understand what that really means, that this wouldn't be if it wasn't for all of us, all right? And so, again, if you have not visited the T. Thomas Fortune Cultural Center, I invite all of you to come out and share and see, what we have to offer there, but not just for Black history, but for all cultures. History is to be studied. All histories are important. All cultures are important. And once we connect with that, see things get. So thank you all.
Thank you. We recommend it. It was an amazing visit there a few times I've been. I have a question for you before we continue.
Sure.
We want to communicate a bunch of information to the town, and we'd like to suspend the regular order of business and then kind of give a briefing. We're going to go back to the regular order of business. Is that just as simple? I can get a motion right here?
Motion, yeah, point of
Okay.
order.
Motion, Mr. Mayor.
What's that?
Make such a motion.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to suspend the regular business.
Okay. So just obviously we like to get the information out as soon as we can. That's why we, put out the agenda meeting in advance, but this is something that's kind of happening in real time. and it's kind of bubbled to the surface, and we kind of want to help not only allay the confusion that people are having, that we're all having, but give you some kind of actionable things that you can do. I'm speaking about the immigration and ICE raids and everything that's going on in Red Bank right now. So, Kate, thank you. She put together a little bit of a briefing, and we're going to hear from Chief Frazee. It was at a memorial service, I believe, and he's going to get here when he can. Adriana's going to say some things, but first off, if you or someone you know has been detained by ICE, you can call the AFSC, the American Friends Service Committee hotline, to be connected to legal services. That phone number is 973-474-9861. Again, 973-474-9861. I'm very glad we're doing this, by the way, because I said a few words at the Martin Luther King celebration at the Vogel, and I expressed a bit of a feeling of helplessness. Specifically, I was talking about ICE agents coming into town, and literally there being nothing you can do to stop them. But Kate and a bunch of others reminded me that there's plenty we can do, which is kind of the purpose of this briefing. I know, because that's the question I get asked. As much as what can you do is what can I do? So hopefully we'll cover some of that here. I want to first of all thank all the rapid responders and people who have been observing ICE. I want to remind them to do so in a respectful way that keeps everyone safe. The goal here is to be identifying the individuals who are being taken so we can get services to them as quickly as possible. We also want to thank the Mexican consulate for the services they have been providing Red Bank residents of Mexican origin and detention, as well as helping their families. So a couple things that we can do, and I've been doing, and I know I've spoken about it with our deputy mayor for a while, is really make an effort to shop, dine, support the Shrewsbury Avenue and train station area businesses. People are just afraid to go out, and so those businesses are really suffering. So if you're thinking of grabbing a bite, there's a lot of incredible restaurants over there on Shrewsbury Avenue and over by the train station. You often see me hunkered down in Senior Peppers having tacos there. That's like my safe spot there. I can escape over, read a book on my phone, and have some nice tacos. So please do what you can. Tell your friends right away. They can definitely support the businesses, restaurants, shops up and down the Shrewsbury Avenue and the train station area. On Tuesday, February 17th at 7 p.m., the American Friends Service Committee will be having an all call for all residents, members of the public, anyone who would like to be more informed and involved. Save the date, please. It's Tuesday, February 17th. Tell all your friends, mark it down on your calendars. Follow AFSCNJ on Instagram for updates and announcements on how to participate in this important online event. Don't have that info right here, but again, if you stay on AFSCNJ on Instagram, we'll be able to get you that information. I want to kick things over to Adriana, who is the head of our Recreation and Human Services Department, and she's going to go over some other things that we can do. Is that one working?
Andrew, why don't you come up here?
Thank you, Mayor. I think
So close.
it's.
It'll turn.
It'll turn red.
There you
go. There we go. I just hear myself. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I think, yes, it's important to know what we can do, but I also want to highlight what we are already doing at the borough through the Department of Recreation and Human Services. I think to do that is also important to highlight the importance of this department in times like this. The department was created to bridge all the gaps in resources, access programming in Red Bank, so that all of our residents are accessing the resources that they need. So part of what we're doing, one of the priorities for the department is communication. We've been intentionally expanding our bilingual communication. So everything goes out in English and Spanish, which is really important, infographics for residents to understand what's happening in town and lessen the confusion. One of the most recent examples is the communication that went out about the police having their training. We shared it with residents, and residents appreciated the clarity so that they weren't alarmed seeing all of the police presence on the west side. So that helps build trust and again, just continue to prioritize that communication and strengthen that with our community. Through the community engagement side, we're focused on being visible and accessible. And so we've leaned on our committees. One of those committees is the Community Engagement and Equity Committee that is doing a business directive initiative where we've taken that opportunity to go out and meet every business owner. And we started on the west side intentionally to find information, but it goes beyond that. It is to build communication and see what businesses need and that we can help with. So it builds relationship and it helps us understand the needs firsthand from local businesses. So that's already started, but it's in the beginning stages, and we're out there. Fatima, our community engagement coordinator, is out there meeting these business owners. Like you said, we continue with our partnership with the Mexican consulate. They've been very critical in, again, that trust building with our communities by providing direct services and try and knock down the barriers of access. And in that same spirit, we are working with other community partners to develop or do our power of attorney clinic all over again. We had one last year and it was very well received. We've received response by our feedback by our community members that is exactly the kind of services that help our community build a bit of a safeguards around their families and just trying to figure out with all the uncertainty what they have to tackle first. And so power of attorney clinic was really important to do again this year. Through the recreation and programming standpoint, I think, again, I want to highlight how being a unified department has been incredibly helpful because we leverage our resources. So having our senior center on off hours available to create programming that services our Spanish speaking community as well has been important. And so connecting with service providers on how and what resources we can bring to community has really yielded a lot of great response from the community. So we've built out programming through our recreation department after hours. So the senior center closes at 3, and then any additional programming that we want to create is after 3 or in the weekends, which is usually when the consulate visits or we curate alternative programming that would help us get any resources out. Through our Mayor's Wellness Campaign, it has been instrumental to get wellness initiatives out. We're talking about mental health, physical health, social health, so anything that tackles the determinants of health. So it's a broad spectrum of programming that we're developing through our Mayor's Wellness Campaign, and partners have been more than willing to jump in and help out. We've had wonderful sponsors that have also invested in that programming because they too see the need in our community. And so we've been able to go forward with a lot of these initiatives that our community conversations, the senior center, community conversations, partner sites through that committee, which is formed of over 25 nonprofits across all sectors, which is what we've been able to be proactive on different fronts and tackle different things. But it's been really helpful to have that support of our council liaisons, just to kind of impulse these committees into being proactive and thinking outside the box about what events and initiatives we can create. Other than that, I mean, we have a full year of programming. We have a pretty robust programming through our recreation department with the sports and creating those moments of joy among all that is going on. But I think that we are very well aware that now is the time to come together And through our department, we are trying to build out our surveys and communications out so we could get more feedback and see where else there are gaps that we can fill. And so just this morning, we had a meeting with our kickoff meeting with Zen City, which is a platform that will help us get that type of feedback. We can put out the projects that the borough is working on so that residents know what we're all doing and the different departments, as well as gives us a live feedback on what's going on social media, what the conversations are, and what people are talking about. If there's something that's being said on social media that we need to react to, like, we will know in real time and we can figure out what department to throw that to. So again, it's all intentionally being done so that we can strengthen our relationship with the people that we serve. And that includes all stakeholders, right? Nonprofits, businesses, and of course our residents. But yeah, we have a full calendar through all of our divisions, and we are hoping that we can do as much as we can, go even beyond of what we did last year, which you will see in the manager for everything that we've accomplished, and we're hoping to do more. And so if anyone, our door is open through the community engagement department, on the fourth floor. If anyone has any initiative that they see or that they would like to do, we have open communication through our committees and through us to just come and join us and have a conversation around that. Many of which have come through your office on your office hours, Mayor, those ideas for new initiatives. So thank you. But yeah, that's what I got.
Great, thank you, Audrey. Chief is not here yet, so I guess we're gonna continue.
I'll defer time in my report to the chief.
Okay, so I was gonna say, so, and again, do I need a motion to go back to?
Resume order of business.
Did I have a motion to resume regular business?
I second motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll hear from the chief whenever he gets here. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from January 8th, 2026?
Moved.
What's that?
There's a public comment.
Oh, right. Thank you. Let's go back to that real quick before we go to actually, that doesn't matter. I'm halfway through it, so we'll just do the minutes and then we'll do a public comment. Where were you? Have a second already?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, and then can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the executive session on the same date, January 2026?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Oh, Chief's here. Perfect.
Hey.
Hey. You get to sit down.
Want to give him an?
Well, we have we're at the public comment right now.
Well, I make a motion that we suspend the regular order. of
There
business.
we go. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? You're on, chief.
Dave.
I'm on.
You wanna, I think over here, just that microphone's working, yeah. Just for everyone who's at home.
Since you were in here.
Oh, yeah. Let's get them.
Or is that awake? I'm sorry.
That's all right. So we just went over some resources, for people. Adriana talked about what the borough is doing, our attorney clinics, the mayor's wellness stuff, Mexican consulate coming. Gave out a hotline number for legal stuff. So that's what we've gone over too, but I imagine, you can kind of go over things like the American Trust Directive, the police training, but
I gotcha.
Button.
Thanks, chief.
No, it's all right. No, it's all.
There you go.
You're on.
Thanks for the time this evening. This is a big topic, not just for us in Red Bank, but throughout the nation. And as I talk to the council members and borough manager Gant, this is something we all need to come together for, not just here in Red Bank, but across the country. And as the police chief, I share everyone's frustration. And like I said, I think we need to kind of come together to help our community feel more at ease. I think it's important for me as the chief to express the department's support and my support for the community and all the residents. And that moving forward, we all as the borough, including ourselves as the police department, we need to just stay transparent and open for everyone to see and to know what's going on here in the borough, especially with the police department. I want to make it clear that the men and women of our department continue to follow the Attorney General guideline for immigrant trust directive, which limits the type of assistance that we provide to federal immigration authorities. I can honestly say since I've been chief, and really since I've been in the department, we've never participated in any immigration activities or really ever exchanged information with immigration or federal agents regarding someone's immigration status. But, to touch on the Immigration Trust Directive, this is something that has been in place for many years. And it was created to help keep the trust between law enforcement and the community as a whole. But there's things I want in here that I want to touch base on that we as your local law enforcement do not do. We do not involve ourselves in civil immigration orders. We do not we do not assist federal agents in rounding up people who have immigration status as suspect. That's something that we do not do. The directive was specifically built to build trust between the immigrant community and the local police department. We want our residents to feel safe, to feel that they can come to the police department to report any crimes or anything that's going on in their community. If they want to be a cooperating witness in cases, we want to keep that open dialogue and make them feel safe and that they can come to the community, come to the police department.
And Chief, just to clarify, I mean, because there was a lot in the news that Murphy didn't sign the Immigrant Trust Act. But you're still operating under.
We still operate under the Attorney General Immigrant Trust Directive.
Okay.
We follow that to the T. We do training every year, yearly training with our officers. We have to do it with the Attorney General to stay compliant. Officers have to continue to do that to keep their police license up to date. So those are some things that we're doing. But what I want to say is that I want the community, I want the council and the community to know that we are here in support of you. Red Bank is a diverse community. It's been that way my entire life. I grew up here. I love our community. My door is always open. I think it's important for the residents to know that, we're here. We're here for you guys. And I want to make it clear that the Red Bank Police Department, that we follow the Immigrant Trust Directive. Sorry. And our officers remain steadfast to following that directive and supporting our community. I'm sorry. When I write things down, I don't really it doesn't come out too smoothly, but
Hear you.
yeah, we're kind of better off the flow. And it's important to note too, the political climate of the nation. They're kind of saying that they're sending in ICE agents to kind of help deter crime and lower crime. And I have to say that the crime in Red Bank is overall, it's pretty low. I think nationally our crime rate is at 17%, somewhere around there, and where the average is 33 or 36%. But I think for the most part, our officers are out there on the street, representing our department well, representing, all the enforcing all the state laws in New Jersey. And like I said, we do not go after the immigrant trust. I'm sorry, we do not go after any immigration enforcement at all. We enforce criminal laws. There's some common misunderstandings regarding the directive. The directive does not stop police from enforcing criminal laws or making arrests based on criminal conduct. It only restricts actions because of immigration status. it does not turn local police officers into federal immigration officers, and, you know, we do not assist them in any way. I think it's important for our police department to move forward, developing policy, and training for our officers. I think it's important for our officers to continue with outreach programs, meeting with public to discuss any issues they have. You know, it might be something this year that I'm going to put in place, a little bit more of a community outreach on our end. But just to reiterate, you know, our officers are here to support the community and keep everyone safe. That's my concern. We do not interact, share. We don't participate in any ICE activity. And as chief, you know, I'll continue to communicate and share information as it pertains to the local involvement of the police department in our daily activities. You know, just the other day, we had a training on Oakland Street between Bridge Avenue and Shrewsbury Avenue. And I thought it was important to put it out. I spoke to Adriana, as well as Borough Manager Gann and Fatima, regarding putting it out to the community, because there was going to be a large amount of police activity, patrol vehicles, armored vehicles, and I thought it was important to put it out to the community to say, hey, listen, this is police training only, and not an ICE related or a federal immigration raid or training, but it was for police presence only. You know, I'd like to give Red Bank Green a shout out for also helping us putting that out to our residents regarding the training. You know, I appreciate everybody's time tonight. My door is always open. Whoever wants to come in or call, send me an email. I'd be more than happy to meet with you. You know, this is something that's really unprecedented across the entire nation, and you know, we need to come together as a community to keep everyone safe.
You guys have any other questions? You have any questions for Chief?
I do have one question. So the other day, I think they went to Red Bank Wawa. Are they allowed to go on private property without,
That's quasi-public property, so yes, they can go on there.
they can go on there?
Yeah.
They can't go on somebody's lawn, like, or your front yard, or come to your door, right? Could you say that's your private property?
That's your private property. You don't have to answer the door. I think they can come up and knock, but you don't have to answer the door.
Because somebody did bring up, was it in Wawa, private property, but it's quasi.
Quasi-public, they can go on there. I mean, yeah, there's always issues there, even regarding trespassers that normally go there and cause trouble. But yeah, they can go on there. You know, going in the store, creating a disturbance, probably not. That's where we would probably step in and say, get out. But, you know.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
You
No problem. Sorry, I missed the beginning.
hit the button.
You don't want to hear me talk about it?
Thank you.
Thank you for setting the standard for the state. I think every chief should be just like you.
Thank you for your help.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have a resident who has a question.
Sure.
Just the chief.
Sure, you want to, we're going to be heading into public comments. You want to just hang out for, okay, yeah. Yes, so 1 sec. Can I have a motion to return to regular business?
I said the motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a motion to open the floor for public comment on agenda items and special event presentation items only.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I'll probably this one, Steve.
Next week. Hey, next week. New year, new me.
Stephen Heck, 135 Branch Avenue. Chief, our feeling has been that the presence of Red Bank police officers can be a calming and supportive influence And so I was concerned to learn, at least from the public notes on Red Bank Green and other published material, that our police department was not present when these ICE events occurred. And I wanted to ask whether you are prevented from being present, if that's a choice that you've made not to be present. And I also wanted to say that I think your presence, when sanity and returns to us, that the observations that our officers would make and the evaluations with respect to the professionalism or not, which is demonstrated by these federal officers, would be helpful. So I just wonder if you could
Sure.
address.
So, I have never been notified by any federal agency that they're coming in to pick up. They usually just show up. I guess they have selected individuals that they're going to pick up. Or, the one time I was notified, one morning I came into my office, I was informed that they picked someone up at the bagel station. And that the officers later found out that they were following this individual from Manalapan. And yet they have to come all the way to Red Bank to arrest them. I don't understand. But no, they do not call me on a regular basis. They just show up. We do not get involved. They have their guidelines they follow, their policies, procedures, their federal policy procedures. Do I agree with the way they treat people? No.
But your observations, as opposed to observations of a layperson, your observations would be critically important when the time comes.
Yeah, it's not like we know.
Well, but the community knows.
Yes.
The community knows very quickly.
That's when you guys find out. I usually find out at the same time.
Okay, but my question is there a reason why officers are not witnessing what's happening? Our officers.
I would say it's probably,
It's gonna confuse people.
it would be, yeah, they're not part of it. And it would be by chance they would be passing by to,
We're all a part of it.
yeah, it would be by chance them passing by to witness it.
Okay, you've answered my question and I appreciate it.
No problem.
I believe that if our officers were present and observing what's happening, that would be comforting. Not a deterrent. I don't think we can deter anything now. I think it's too crazy to deter. But I think it would be comforting to those who are being assaulted. There's my prejudice. I see it as an assault. But
on the other hand, we also don't want to get associated with that.
well,
That's a difficult policy question because that's part of the immigration trust directive is that it says participate in any way. So they don't want state authorities to even have the appearance of being participating in the federal activity because then that chills the public, people willing to work with their state officials on criminal activity, the chief pointed out before. So I don't know what, there's a new governor, so there's going to be a new attorney general. So we'll see if there's different guidance or other guidelines that you're talking about. But that's been debated. I would say that most states, like for example, you see in Minnesota, the entire absence of state law enforcement in the arena when you see these videos, and that's intentional to keep, because the state officials' primary concern is not, as the chief pointed out, civil immigration enforcement, it's public safety and criminal conduct. So the debate we're having right here is what they debate, probably what the new governor and attorney general will have to wrestle with as well. Going
if it were me, I wish that my guys were at least watching out about what's happening. So that 6 months from now, I can go and say, Mike, what about what happened?
We're in a sticky place. We're in a sticky
I see that.
situation. It's hard for us. And, you know, if I knew wholeheartedly that that would, you know, if that was legal for us to do that and I knew it was gonna calm, you know, the situation down, I would be there myself to make sure.
Is it illegal?
Yes, we,
I wouldn't say, I think the chief, let's put it this way. The policy concept in the immigrant trust directive cuts against what you're suggesting. So I think if the chief is taking his, you know, is executing the guidelines here, he's, you know, putting the borough in the best place by making sure his guys are not seen when this activity is going on, or it doesn't even seem like you have the opportunity in general anyway. To do that.
that's solely by association,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and public safety is the paramount concern of just the municipal government and state government in general.
When this behavior goes unobserved, that is not.
So that's it's important to, look, I mean, this is you can hear the conflict between state and federal laws, right? And I would say that the last time you saw this kind of disparity between the federal interpretation of enforcement and state interpretation of enforcement, maybe it's the civil rights era, right? Where you saw very awkward circumstances with National Guard troops and state troopers literally facing off against each other. And so that time may be coming that brings it to a legal head like it did back then. But yeah, right now, the best we can do with the conflict of laws is kind of where we're at. I think you had a tip as well, right?
I wanted to point out the difference between events being observed and events being observed by our police department, because pretty much we have a lot of community activists, people who are on site. I know Kate has been there several times. When we get word of an ICE appearance, people are showing up with their phones and they're filming. So it's being observed, just might not be being observed by our police department, but.
Well, the difference is it being observed by a professional who has the credentials to be able to make a decision about whether that is the way that law enforcement should and does operate. You know, it's fine that lay people are observing, and I believe that is a safety factor as well. I
think that if we are taking the stance of not creating any further confusion for our community, the best thing we can do is allow our police to protect our community by not being a part of the nonsense that's going on at the federal level and confusing our residents even more as to why they're even there. And are they there to assist when we're bifurcating that completely? And we're doing it under the protection of the Immigrant Trust Directive. So I think that we only muddy the water if we insert ourselves in a situation under the guise of police rather than observations that we debrief after every time it happens.
And experts made that policy with the guidance of experts in immigration, experts in the field, with guidance of the most vulnerable people who are being impacted by this issue, who have been heard from about how they feel about this issue. So this is a very well thought out policy with a lot of people at the table. And there's a reason for the implementation of that directive.
I hope it's also well understood. I understand more now than I did before. Thank you.
It's a good question, though, and I understand where it comes from.
Thank you, Steve. Steve remembered. Chief, I just want you to know, Steve remembered to hit the button. Didn't need a binder. Anyone else have any questions or comments on agenda items only or this topic, obviously? Anyone? Anyone online, Jim?
Yes, sir.
No? Can I have a motion to close the public comment on agenda items only?
I'll make such a motion.
Have a second? All in favor?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a comment since the chief is here now. I won't be during.
Turn your mic on.
So Chief, I just wanted to thank the department for your professionalism. And one of the things about having this circumstance in our nation right here on my street, Locust Avenue, and the neighborhood, is that you appreciate how important it is to have professional law enforcement and training such as you recently had, people wearing uniforms with proper identification, not hiding behind masks. And it's pretty scary to have people burst out of cars that aren't clearly marked, wearing masks and snatching people. And it just seems so profoundly against all the things the United States is supposed to stand for: liberty, rule of law, the Constitution, and due process. And so I am so grateful that in a small way, this is our small town, that you guys are doing. The men and women of the Red Bank Police Department are acting professionally in accordance with our greater mission: prevent crime and continue quality of life in Red Bank. So I just wanted to thank you, Amy, and I do appreciate it. We are on a street that ICE has been active on. The lack of people walking around is quite noticeable. The lack of people in our local stores and restaurants is quite noticeable. And the chilling effect it's had on a large number of people. And I know that there are people, and I've had people talk to me saying, oh, it's just affecting the illegals. You know, it's not true. It's impacting so many, legal and otherwise. Anyway, thank you again, Chief.
I appreciate
Members
that.
of the police department.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to myself and the men and women of the police department. You touched on, sorry.
People don't.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to myself and the men and women of the police department. I will touch on real fast. I have been in contact with Prosecutor Ray Santiago regarding trying to have a better communication with the federal agencies regarding better proper identification, you know, possibly removing the masks, you know, a better flow of communication with, you know, who they're dealing with, and, you know, actually notification to us where they're going to be, when they're going to be. But that's to come, but I just want to put that out there as well.
There is proud to be your councilman here, Chief.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, next up, we have a final reading and public hearing for ordinance 2026-01 entitled an ordinance of the Borough of Red Bank, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 490, Planning and Development Regulations relating to Section 55, Historic Districts, Sites, Regulation and Procedures, adding Attachment 7, which are historic preservation guidelines. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions for ordinance 2026-01? Anyone online, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2026-01.
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-01?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilperson Fitzie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilperson Forrest?
Yes.
Councilperson Janelle?
Yes.
Councilperson Euro?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Triviano?
Yes.
Mayor Vernon?
Yes. Thank you all. Next up, final reading and public hearing for ordinance 2026-02 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 300 construction codes uniform to update our construction fees. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public hearing on this ordinance only?
Make such a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions or comments on this ordinance? See it, Terrence.
Terrence.
Anyone online? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing for this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02?
Moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilperson Fitzie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilperson Forrest?
Yes.
Councilperson Janelle?
Yes.
Councilperson Euro?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Triviano?
Yes.
Mayor Vernon?
Yes. Next up is an introduction of ordinance 2026-03 entitled an ordinance to exceed the calendar year 2026 municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank according to NJSA 48:45. Can I have have we don't need to do the public hearing, right? Can I have a motion to approve on introduction ordinance 2026-03?
Moved.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mayor, just before the vote, if you just want me to explain for the record, this is a yearly financial action that the borough takes to establish a cap bank, which allows that in the statute of 40A 4-4514, a tax levy up to 3.5% above the prior year's appropriations. So this just basically, it doesn't create a new taxing authority. It just allows us to go beyond the normal 2% cap bank and extend it to a 3.5% cap bank in case that additional levy is needed in future years. It's good financial planning and recommended by the auditor.
And we'll be approving it the next council meeting.
Correct.
Where
You're on a roll call.
roll call, please.
Councilperson Benotakis? Yes. Councilperson Davis Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilperson Forrest?
Yes.
Councilperson Janone?
Yes.
Councilperson Euro?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Triviano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes, there'll be a public hearing on this ordinance on February 12th. We have a bunch of resolutions. Anybody need to highlight anything? Or can we do them on the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'm okay with the consent agenda.
All right. All good. Can I have a motion to approve resolutions 26-25 through 26-36 on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benotakis?
Yes.
Councilperson Davis Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilperson Forrest?
Yes.
Councilperson Janone?
Yes.
Councilperson Euro?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Triviano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes. We have some new volunteers for the fire department. That makes my heart happy. It's nice to see the advertising campaign working. I'll attribute it to that. Coming to the Red Bank Volunteer Fire Department, James Daniel Flynn has an application for active membership in Navison Cook and Ladder. Cody Schmidt has the same active membership application for Navison Cook and Ladder. Caitlin Wyman has an application for active membership in Navison Cook and Ladder. Chris Ramali has an application for active membership at Union Hose. And Kara Moscow has an application for active membership at West Side Hose Company. That is great. Any feedback from anyone? Any thoughts? No?
Yay.
Just great.
Yes, that is great. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public questions and comments?
Make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. If you have any thoughts on anything at all, now is the time. Anyone? Pat, you good? All right. Anyone online?
Yes, sir.
Going once. Emily, you good? All right. Can I have a motion to close the public
I'll
comments?
make such a motion, Mr.
Can I
Mayor.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ben, let's start with you today.
Yay.
Our council reports.
Okay, well, I'm gonna change from the more serious topics that we are talk about. First, I'm liaison, as you know, honored to be liaison to the public schools.
I hear you.
Honored to be liaison to the public schools. Thank you guys for that. And I went to all the meetings this month, although apparently I missed the second meeting of the Borough Schools Group. Was a longtime Red Bank resident, was honored for her 20 years of service, and Roseman. I was always remember as a board member saying to her, I've been here longer than you, Ann, but I can't say that anymore. Because I was only on that board for 19 years. So congratulations, Ann Roseman, and perhaps Mayor, we can want to think of some acknowledgement for her at a future date. It's a long time to be on the Board of Education.
Service.
In my capacity as Parks and Rec liaison, our meeting is next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. I think it's in this room, unless, manager would push us around somewhere.
No, sir.
So if you're interested in honoring the Parks and Rec issues, you just want to hear us deliberate, come here at 7 o'clock next Tuesday. Main announcement I want to make in Parks and Rec is that we are now hiring 16 to 24-year-old residents of Monmouth County to be in our, to run our camp programs, et cetera. If you go to our website, there's a little tab for jobs. Go there if somebody in Monmouth County who wants to apply. Okay, and I think that, I'm just making sure, Mayor, I'm looking at my notes, and I don't want to miss anything and have to go back to you saying, I forgot to say something. But I think that covers me, I commented earlier, so thank you very much.
All right, you want to tell the mic? Laura? You ready?
Yes. So I missed the library meeting this month because I was away. But I did go over the minutes and the budget, everything seemed fine. We are having a library capital group meeting. It's going to be with Jim and myself and the members of the library board coming up on February 3rd. I also missed animal welfare because I was away. I had gone to a previous meeting and they have quite a few things planned for next year. Mayor's Wellness, I even zoomed in from Mexico twice. It's good.
Amazing.
And wrote a lot of papers, didn't we? We did a lot of work. So we are having some of our stakeholders to JP Soul Kitchen at the end of the month for a little luncheon to thank some of the people that we've been working with. As Adriana said, we have a lot of people on stakeholders, so it's been great. We're planning some things for next year, and we got a report into the state for last year, and then we got our plan. Maybe we'll get some money from the state to help us for next year, so we got that in. So that was important. I also wanted to bring up that it is Heart Month. That's why we're all just read today. It's very important to me as a nurse to recognize that and to say the button that Kate gave me, that healthcare is a human right and it shouldn't just be for certain people. So it's really important to me and many issues, but I just think taking money away from Medicaid and using it for ICE is really not the American way. So I have to publicly say that. Thank you.
Kate?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say again how proud I am of the entire team in this town. Again, as the chief stated, although the Immigrant Trust Directive was not codified into law, the directive is just as strong as it was before, and it still remains under the new Attorney General. The other bill that was passed into law by the governor is the Safe Communities Act. If anybody wants to look into the details of the Safe Communities Act, but essentially that creates a law that mirrors essentially exactly what the federal government used to state sensitive locations were before they repealed it, which are houses of worship, schools, healthcare locations, food pantries, and it restricts that type of activity from happening in those sensitive locations. Regardless, AFSC did train over 300 nonprofits in our area in the last year on what to do if ICE shows up in their location, including VNA, all of Fulfill, Parker Health Center, JBJ, the Red Bank Public Schools. Essentially, if there's somebody that gives services in our area, they had been trained by AFFC, but now we have this extra comfort of knowing that the Safe Communities Act was passed. Let me check. Community Equity Engagement Committee, as Audrey mentioned, they have been doing the business outreach and coordinating with her on that, which is wonderful. And that's across the entire town, regardless of the needs of those businesses. The CEEC is also going to announce a nomination process for the next Community Service Award. Nominations will be open to the public and should launch in the next couple weeks, but basically the committee started that award so that residents in our town, there's thousands of people living here, can be recognized for the everyday acts, the wonderful acts of kindness, and the wonderful people that live here that just do great things every single day. So it's a beautiful thing that the committee highlights, and I really like the work that committee is doing. So thank you, Audrey, also for helping them, find their path with reaching out to the businesses. Trying to think, it's just been very busy. It's been very busy. I want to thank all the residents who have been reaching out and emailing us with their concerns. And I want to reiterate what the mayor said about that upcoming meeting, February 17th at 3 p.m. I know it seems like it might be a little far away for updates, but it'll be here before you know it. And it also it gives us some time to see what the state does. In the meantime, I mean, we just got a new governor. Let's see in the first month what the legislature does policy wise. TikTok. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Christina?
Thank you. Also turning to our local matters because we've spoken a lot about the rest. I wanted to thank the council for approving the historic guidelines, the historic design guidelines, officially adding that to our zoning. And also.
Look at this.
And also making that the official document that the Historic Preservation Commission uses when they are evaluating approvals that come before the commission. This is really what we've been striving for a long time, with help of a grant, even many professionals and really hard work of that commission putting this together. This is the ideal state for such a commission to have objective guidelines by which to do their reviews. And it's also just a really beautiful ideas book. We actually, the commission met last night, and already they had some stories about being able to use just this draft document to help and give guidance to folks in the downtown who are looking at what they wanted to do with the business. Did we have any standards? And it turns out, yes, we did. So it's actually, this should make proactive action much easier, streamline how these things work. So really appreciate moving that forward. This went through the planning board as well for review relative to the master plan. So I think this is a really strong document that's going to take us a long time, a long way forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Ben 2.0.
That's really good.
See what sticks.
Yeah, I'm happy to represent the council on River Center now. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for giving me that honor. Wanted to announce the Valentine's Sweet Stroll coming up February 7th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. A lot of businesses involved. It starts at Bougie Fire, one of the newer businesses in town. They seem excited to be a part of it. So I love seeing collaboration between the different businesses in town, and giving, opportunity to those that might not have people walking in organically on a random day in February. So that's a good one to come out to. I also just saw online Fourchette. Is that how you pronounce that?
Fourchette, yeah.
Fourchette. They're doing fromage Fridays.
Oh, nice.
Charcuterie happy hour type of deal. I think it was $25, BYOB. So go down to the new liquor store on Broad, Liquor World, grab some vino, and have a nice night doing that. Yeah, and it's just really encouraging seeing new businesses wanting to get involved, and excited for the spring and summer. I think it's going to be really good. And then did get mentioned from Deputy Mayor that the Women's Warming Center is always collecting Uber gift cards, which is something I didn't realize. It's important to have mobility, especially with all the weather and whatnot we have coming up and have had in the past. So it's another example to me of the community. There's so many different ways to contribute to different people in need. So happy to bring that up. Now I did want to shout out Parks and Rec. The indoor soccer started at the middle school. My 3.5-year-old Sebastian is participating in the pre-K division. And it's my first time participating in something like that in town. And it's really well run. I'm really impressed by the amount of people that are out there, and look forward to Sunday. If you want to see him not listen to someone, that's not me. 10 a.m. It's actually Monmouth FC does the coaching for the younger divisions, which I thought was really cool. Another synergy example of different pieces of the town coming together. So really cool, good stuff.
Thank you, Ben. Nancy.
Hi, thank you. I'll start off with a few things that are happening on the state level. One of the initiatives that the Environmental Commission Green Team brought to council, which became a part of our municipal code, was Skip the Stuff. That is now state law. So thanks to the action of Red Bank and other local municipalities, we were able to convince the state that this is a good law to be passed. It basically saves businesses money because you get your utensils only if you ask for it. And it saves residents trash because you're not throwing out the whole, drawer full of condiments that you received that you didn't really need. So I thought that was really good. So, yay Red Bank for that. The EC Green Team is having their Green Fair on the 22nd on Earth Day of April. And I'm trying to encourage them to work with our community engagement team and their See My Legacy program to help get the list of organizations that we already use for the Green Team to go through See My Legacy and see how we can help them, and they in turn will help us. Also, the EC is hosting this time in Red Bank the Sustainable Jersey Hub, and thank you for allowing them to use the Senior Center. It's going to be on the 9th of February. On the STC side, the Shade Tree Committee, they're reaching out to neighbors on Drummond Avenue. That's still part of their pilot. As part of the tree canopy project, the goal is to try to get trees in front yards as your first goal to help create a tree canopy for people as they're going down the streets to help reduce what is known as the heat island effect. One of the other issues that I've been engaged with as being on the Completing Green Streets Advisory Committee and Sustainable Jersey Energy Task Force and the Complete Streets Summit Committee is about e-mobility. And there was a bill that was passed. The intentions were good, but the delivery, honestly, there were some issues that were overlooked and as a result, it does disenfranchise some members of our community, such as people who are disabled that cannot get a driver's license or a motorized license, but are capable of riding a bike, and how it reclassified all bikes. And I do recognize we do have a problem, but most of the problems are related to what used to be called Class 3 e-bikes. And I'm not going to go in the weeds. I'm really trying not to. But those are essentially electric motorcycles, for want of a better word. And those are what we saw last summer all over Broad with the young kids. I like that there's an age requirement. Personally, I think it's still too low, 14 years old. And the kids that are doing this are the 14, 15-year-olds. So what I think the bicycle community within the state is not happy with this law. And honestly, I think the bill it seemed like it was kind of rushed through and consultation wasn't made to come with a bill that makes sense. So here's the issue that we have. We have a climate crisis on hand. We'd like to see carbon-free transportation, and here's a method that is taking place, a third tier of transportation. So ideally, we want to make it safe. We want to make it accessible to all and use the three-tier framework that's used nationally. You'd like to see rapid and thorough investment in protected bike infrastructure, investment significantly, this is very important, in bicycle education and working with the police for proper enforcement. So I'm looking at you saying, I didn't leave you out. Everybody else tried this. So, and I would like to think that our whole council is in agreement that we should support a bill that doesn't disenfranchise a community such as someone who can't get a license but rides a bike. And I think that, and I do work with New Jersey Bike Walk Coalition, the Complete Streets Coalition, Voorhees Transportation Center. So, and I'm also work with our legislatures to try and help with, I'll be very happy to work with them to get something that makes sense complete for all members to the best that we can. So I do want to say that. One of the things we do have open is an AARP Community Challenge grant that's open. And it kind of made me wonder, maybe we could do something with bicycle education in town. And I'm, again, looking towards the police. So that's basically what I have. One of the things I do want to ask is, or state, is that what I've observed about our police chief is that he walks his talk. And if a resident does have an issue, he is known to knock on their door and help them address their issue, and we get feedback. And I just want to say they think you're doing a wonderful job. And my last thing is, when are we going to get this update to the courtroom, Jim?
It says next
Next
week.
week.
Next week? All right, awesome. All right, that's all I have.
Comfortable staying in public?
Not really.
Amazing. Amazing. You're a brave leader. I like you.
Sticking to it.
That's right. Good job.
Roger, you're gonna have to remind me, there's this dude
Form.
in my neighborhood, I see him walking all the time and he's always fostering a new dog. I think he'd be a good person to recognize, but I don't know it. I gotta have, next time I see him, I'll grab his name, but you're gonna have to remind me because I'm gonna forget. And I mentioned before, my kids have all been involved in the Little Shakes program over at the Two River Theater. And even though my son Easy is off in college, he was involved backstage for this current production. Their final two shows that you can get tickets for this Saturday. They're doing As You Like It. There's a 2 o'clock matinee and a 7 o'clock show. There's a 2 o'clock show on Sunday, which is sold out, but my guess is it might be canceled anyway. Thank you guys, everyone, for all the information you communicated. And thank you for the work you guys are doing on the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. It's nice to see, all these nonprofits come together and do a lot of good. So that's all I got. Jim, you got a manager's report?
Publicly thank FEMA for our newsletter that went over exactly what we did this year to Mayor's Wellness timeline and.
Oh, yeah, I did see that flyer. That was good.
Nice.
Nice.
He's really pretty good at.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, Jim.
This is going to segue right into what Jim is doing. I want to say we're also proud to pass a resolution approving the professional services contract with Alta Planning to prepare a Vision Zero report.
Amen.
To, which is consistent with the safe streets and the safe streets in general. That's
I'll
it.
set off my list.
Yeah, cross that one off your
I
list.
did. I had it.
Okay.
Just a couple things, because really, right now, our focus, even particularly today, is this impending storm that we have coming. It's pretty significant impact to the area, probably one that we haven't seen in several years, that they're stating. So, our emergency operations team met today. We plan to touch base tomorrow morning again, putting out messaging and just making sure that we have things operationally in place. Through, Tommy Welsh, our emergency management coordinator, myself, obviously the chief, and the rest of the team. We got together just to discuss any concerns and to go over our manpower and everything. These weekend storms have been really challenging, and the last 3 snow events have been over the weekend. So calling in our staff, requiring our staff to work through the night. Mostly this storm coming up is going to be through the night. So it adds just another layer of difficulty to the management of that. At the same time, it's also good that a lot of people are sleeping while we're out with our operations.
Are we opening up public lots for people to put cars to get them off the streets? Is that?
Yep, same logistics that we've been putting in place consistently through the last storms. I know that there's really no great answer to the issue of having cars on the street. However, that's what we can offer, and that's what we can expect from our residents.
I was trying to find this information. Can we find out if the Pozzo Garage allows overnight parking and how much that might cost? I know the West Side Lofts Garage does. It's probably like,
So we actually use, and Chief, you might be able to help me with this. We actually use for police vehicles and other municipal vehicles, the 3rd floor there of the Pozzo Garage. So I don't know how much of the rest of it is available, or if they're necessarily willing to open it, but it's maybe something we could touch base with them on.
Yeah, sure. I think the garage is open to the public. You just have to go in. I don't know what they charge, but they have allowed us for.
I know they allow parking. I'm just wondering if they allow overnight parking for.
Yeah, no, there's other cars in there, and the stores previous, they've allowed us to park our police, fire, construction vehicles in there overnight, until our lots are completely clear. But when we do that, there are other vehicles in there stored overnight.
So between tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow afternoon, maybe we can touch base and see if we can reach out to somebody and get some direction on that. But again, particularly with this storm, the enforcement is going to have to happen because we're looking at potentially a foot of snow, and we need the roads clear and we need the vehicles off the roads. I know the chief's given a lot of leeway in that regard. However, we're consistent with the messaging, and that's something that we're actively preparing for. Linden Place, the road construction project we had a pre-con meeting and we're set to start on February 9th with Linden Place. So that's going to be underground utilities and then milling and paving, looking to complete that project substantially by mid-spring. Because you have to allow a certain amount of time for the trenches to settle before you can come in and mill and pave the roadway to completion. So we've met with the contractor. We'll be going out with community messaging on that, making sure that every resident is notified along that street as to what the timeline is and the schedule. As you saw also tonight, the contract to extend the DeLissa Waste Management Services, we put that in place as the contract is nearing its end. And we have a bid opening scheduled for February 5th for other bids to come in for waste management. We obviously don't know what they're going to look like right now, or which ones we will receive, but we've been in contact with DeLissa. We put this on tonight to extend that contract for our waste services. So I'll have more to report on the bid opening for waste services after February 5th, which we have a consultant coming in to help us through that competitive contracting process. Lastly, one thing I need to do, and Bonnie, just to make it as a matter of record, obviously for the next meeting minutes, this is particularly for our staff, our salaried employees that are non-union. Under my purview as borough manager, we set the salary ordinance within the borough. I act within that ordinance to provide yearly increases and things of the like. There's been some back and forth with pension as to what they require. I think to have them navigating under a borough manager form of government may be a little different than what they're used to. Right. So here I'm going to do it by reading it into the minutes because acting on it by resolution is not necessarily the purview of the governing body, but is the purview under the borough manager. So I'm just going to name the employees where, as of October of 2025, they received a retroactive. That's how we do it in municipal government. It's usually, 3/4 of the way through the year, we give a retroactive increase to the salaries. The union employees receive it on January 1st. However, we kind of see how the budget's playing out and other things and how our salaried employees are performing on a merit basis versus a actual union contract. The employees that I'm going to read received a 3% increase to their salary, which is effective January 1st of 2025 for the year of 2025. So that would be, and again, this is mainly for the record, Bonnie Thomas, our deputy clerk registrar, Kathy Gerber, our court administrator, Frank LaRocca, which is the municipal court judge, Jackie Reynolds, the director of the senior center, Chief Frazee, Oscar Salinas, the director of parks and recreation, Shawnee Ebanks, director of planning and zoning, Sherry Gamina, who had a mid-year increment of 5,000 as an adjustment due to additional duties that were added to her job description with a yearly annual increase in the normal sense of 3%. Sue Milnes, the deputy court administrator, with a 3% increase. Tommy Welsh, our fire marshal, at 3%. Shlisha Deshpande, the tax utility collector, at 3%. Terrence Walton, our director of public utilities, at 3%. Tom Seaman, our CFO, at 3%. And Tony Nybert he had duties removed from his position, and his salary was readjusted based on the construction official duties across the state, where he had a salary audit. His reflected a 6% increase because he's an hourly employee and is not a full-time employee of the borough. So his rate increased 6%, which actually it's because he didn't receive an increase the prior year. So he was adjusted accordingly. Again, all for the record, hopefully to be approved by the minutes at the next meeting so that I could submit that to the state and everybody is squared away.
That's it.
That's it, sir.
Can I motion to adjourn to executive session?
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All right.
That's 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Public, you are gladly dismissed. Thank you for being here.
100% of that.
You need to announce, you need to.
Yes.
Executive session will concern the personnel matter. It will take approximately 25 minutes. You can give it 25 minutes and no action will be taken after an executive session. And no action.
Don't forget to collect.
You get the stuff.
It's not a involved, it's definitely something on.
And as I get streets, I get more streets.
We're like, not trying to win. It's like,
Yeah.
Sure.